Welcome again, human beings from the planet Earth. So, yesterday, big mess in Dearborn with the anti-Muslim protests that turned violent in many ways. A lot of peaceful acts, but there was some violence after provocation. And so it brings about a topic that I want to talk to you guys about. Freedom of speech, right? Well, that has been extended to acts. The Supreme Court has ruled that the burning of a flag is speech. So we have an act, a physical act is considered speech. I want you to remember that point. In previous protests, I've seen many right-wingers really get pissed off and turn violent when people burn the American flag. They defend the flag, even though our ways and our laws say that it's okay to do that. But they justify the violence to protect the flag. And then yesterday in Dearborn, when an extreme right-winger tried to burn the Quran, and then when that failed because it was taken away from him, and there was some physical pushing, he got another Quran and was beating it with bacon. And that's free speech, and he's upset that he had physical action against him for his free speech. Seems to be a bit of a contradiction here. Now, this is another video where I was thinking of presenting this with clips. I don't want to promote that bullshit. I'm not showing it here unless I capture it myself. I'm not giving anybody any screen time. And I also don't want to have any issues with somebody saying, you use my content, although it would be fair use. I think it's better to not do that. And so I'm going to do the right thing. It's my belief that we need to start looking at burning a flag, burning a holy book, and other things possibly. I don't have an example as of yet, but those are the two big ones. And keep in mind, I'm not somebody that's big on law. Every time you make a law, you make another criminal. You can't legislate behavior. But I think it should be a way to be that we would consider these things violence. Here's my reasoning. Some of you are like, oh, we can't do that. I want you to think about this. We're going to activate the minds. Try to get lit through that layer of fog, that passiveness that leaves one train of thought stuck in our mind. We're going to, because if we're ever going to save this country, I've got to slow down on the idea of trying to get you guys to unify and write the framework for a new government. I got to slow down on that. None of us are ready for that. We got to get these brains working. That's why I did some reading. We'll learn about that in a minute. If you were, ladies, I'm going to use you an example. I hope you don't mind, and this probably would apply to men. I've known men that were in these same situations, but usually it's the ladies that are in abusive relationships, and we consider them violent for the speech that they endure. That speech is violence because we know that speech can hurt so much more and be so caustic, dangerous, violent. It carries on. It can traumatize people for many, many years. It's not like a punch in the eye. Okay, it's swelled up, it's black, it hurts today. Tomorrow it might hurt a little still, but it's going to fade away. But the speech that came with that punch is going to last and last and last. I'm not big on the idea of flags. I think it's foolish. I think it's immature. I think it's like militaristic. I want to serve people. I want to talk to people. I want to make agreements with people. Religion, politics, me, no bueno. No bueno. Not for me. That's not to say that they're all bad. I see so many wonderful people in all religions doing good deeds. I like humans that do good deeds. But in those same religions, there are people that are committing atrocities, attacking fellow Americans because there's a different religion, and it's being spun in with the politics, which in the case of the Islamic religion, from my very beginner understanding of the religion is also the law. And so that it's one thing. And what we saw were the right-leaning people attacking. I'm going to use the word attacking. I see it as attacking Muslim Americans. And I saw the radical left, under the guise of protecting Muslims, be violent and aggravate the situation before the Quran was even burnt. But these acts of burning people's flags, and I'm going to call out the other countries that are here in America, because this flag, it works the mind. And when you do things to attack the mind of believers, this is why I don't like believers. Something I said in yesterday's video, I'm going to say it again now. You'll hear me drive this into your minds, because I want you to think. The words of Sadhguru, paraphrasing, of course. The greatest atrocities known to man were all committed by good men serving their God. Christians are guilty of it. Jews are guilty of it. Muslims are guilty of it. Name a religion, and at some point in time, they were killing people. They were expanding. It's being presented now that the Muslim is, the Islamic faith rather, is a religion of conquest and killing. Well, it sounds like how all the Christians got here, if I remember history correctly. But we need to do away with this freedom of speech, burning flags in holy books. And if you're visiting this country, if you claim to be an American, you've got citizenship, you're an American, but you came from somewhere else, and you're in the street waving your country's flag, that is a violent act. When we're playing with these flags, we're playing with people's minds. This is harmful behavior. Americans don't treat each other that way, except we do, and we have been, and we must stop. Now, if you are from another country, you're an American citizen, and you want to put, in my opinion, similar to what you would do on a boat. See, I'm more big on pirate than I am religion or government. But, gentleman pirate, of course, I'm not going to steal anything, and I'm not going to rape anybody, okay? I'm opposed to those things. So, pirating, Anyway, on a boat, you would fly your country's flag, but when you visited a new country, you would put another smaller flag on the boat as a sign of respect for that country. So that's what, if we're going to do the flag game, I am not. For over a decade, I flew a flag inverted on my vehicles. There was one up here. There was one on my door. And I'm just not doing the flag. It was not disrespect. It was to start conversations, and it was the appropriate placement of the flag signifying imminent loss of life and property. Because for well over a decade here in our own country, probably as long as I've been alive, which is 55 and a half years, that's the proper placement of the flag. And I just got so sick of this that I don't want no cloth, no flag. I'm just a human being. That's all I'm going to be. That's all I need to be. That's all I want to be, is a human being. But if we're going to play the flag game, then I think the American flag and then the flag of your country underneath it on the same pole, giving proper respect to the country you say you love and respect to your roots, I think that's fine, and I don't think anybody should be insulted by that. Do I have any authority in all this? Absolutely not. I don't want any authority in any of this. I don't want you to have any authority, and I don't want you to beg for any authority, and I want you to stop bowing to authority, but without being violent, without casting harm. If it means you have to stay away from everybody and not say a word to anybody, then do that till you get control of yourself. And then carry on. Anyway, okay. I believe that we're going to see more of these protests against Muslims. Actually, it's quite curious, because sometimes I seem to know things that I can't prove to you or explain. But as I was watching a stream relative to yesterday's event and watching the chat to see what others are saying, first, I said, I bet there's going to be more cities. I wonder what cities have the largest Muslim populations. And of course, Detroit, since the early 1900s, Muslims there to work in the auto factories. And, they've built a big neighborhood there. Not my business. It's fine to do as far as I'm concerned. Isn't that what the country is all about? Got no opinion on it. That's for the locals to sort out in that area. New York City. And now there is a Muslim mayor, right? I believe he's Muslim. I don't know about New York but anyway, I anticipate another protest like this, probably several. So anyway, I looked up, these are the largest of the cities with the largest population. Obviously, the Detroit metro area, that includes Dearborn and a couple of other towns, Chicago, New York, Houston, and L.A. Now, my first thought was, LA's a given, right? It's easy to get a protest and get people to be violent in LA. That's like, just throw a match and the fucking it'll pop off. You don't even need a reason in LA, right? Because the same thing is going to happen as what happened with these ICE protests. You're going to pick out the major cities, major hot spots, and that's just my opinion. Anyway, while I was watching the chat, somebody said New York City is next. That's no proof of anything, but let's just see. Let's remember this video, share it with others so they'll remember the video, like it if you will. Please, I'm trying to beat this algorithm and really struggling. YouTube doesn't like people like me. I'm not here to sell you anything. You notice that the channel isn't monetized. Of course, I'm not big enough to be monetized, but I don't get paid for any of this. There will be some ways to support. If you think you got a couple bucks and you want to help me out, a couple links down there, that's great. Thank you very much. But what I am here to do is to get these minds thinking. That's what I'm here to do right now, one step at a time. Anyway, other cities that may be an issue: Philly, Paterson, New Jersey, Jersey City, New Jersey, Dallas, and DC Metro. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you that if I'm walking down the street, it can be here or a place I've never been or whatever it is, and there is somebody walking to me that intends on talking to me, I know if they have good or bad intentions when they're within 100 feet of me. When I was dead asleep in the middle of the night, somebody silently cut my anchor rope. I got up and had my sailboat motor started and a spotlight on him before he floated more than 100 feet away. Sometimes some of us just know things. Dearborn wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. We got to stop fighting each other. And we got to stop doing those things that attack people's minds. You're going to take somebody, these issues, there's a reason we don't talk about politics and religion when we're drinking, right? It's very dangerous. And when people are already overexcited and then you do something and they know it's a direct attack into their soul, I think both is very foolish. I'm not going to get mad if I see somebody burn a flag of any kind or a book of any kind. You know what I'm going to say? Well, I think that guy's a dumb fuck. I don't think that's very effective. And I wouldn't want to breathe any of that smoke in. It's probably toxic. Anyway, much love, many, many thanks. Like, subscribe, please share. Already bounced off Twitter. I've put in a... Yeah. I'm telling you guys, it might sound like a conspiracy theory, but... if you knew my history, you would understand. Anyway, and it was always for the same thing, because I love you. Much love, many thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.